Hey there, and welcome back to The Explainer. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by the absolute avalanche of scattered, frankly contradictory advice out there on how to build an online business, well, trust me, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're actually doing something really cool. We're synthesizing insights from three heavy hitters, Mark Tilbury, Abulaya, and Dan Martell, into one cohesive, step-by-step roadmap for online business success. We're literally charting the course from absolute zero all the way up to that elite 1%.
Okay, so let's dive right into this roadmap. First up, we're going to cover avoiding the side hustle trap. Then, choosing your money vehicle. Third, building a personal brand. Fourth, the currency of trust. And finally, scaling to the top.
So, stage one, the side hustle trap. The hardest part of this whole journey, honestly, it's just starting correctly.
Check this out. Self-made millionaire Mark Tilbury points out a pretty shocking statistic. A whopping 55% of people never even start a side hustle. Seriously, zero action. And why is that? Well, because the online space right now is basically a jungle. It's packed with confusing ads and questionable gurus pushing unproven methods, and it just completely paralyzes people with indecision.
But what about the ones who actually do manage to start? Well, 28% of them end up running what you could call a failing side hustle, bringing in less than $50 a month. And the main villain trapping them here is shiny object syndrome. You know the feeling, constantly jumping from dropshipping today to coding tomorrow to a social media agency next week without ever really committing to one. It's exactly like a miner frantically digging a dozen different holes, only to abandon every single one of them right before they strike gold.
Which brings us right into stage two, choosing your money vehicle.
To dodge that shiny object trap, you really just need to pick one path and stick to it. Broadly speaking, our experts break this down into two main routes. On one side, we have Abulaya's service-driven approach. Now, this is perfect if you want to take high-income skills and sell them directly to clients. But on the other side, we have Mark Tilbury's product-based method, specifically automated e-commerce. And that one is absolutely ideal for folks who maybe don't have existing skills to sell just yet, and honestly, just want to avoid dealing with client work altogether.
Let's unpack the service side first. Abulaya actually maps out a super specific framework of side hustles built to hit that $100 a day mark. What's fascinating here is his unique ethical criteria. He makes sure the work stays halal based on his own personal requirements. So, for example, he recommends editing vlogs, but specifically doing it without using music. Or acting as an influencer agent, but strictly rejecting anyone who promotes haram content. Working within those boundaries, he highlights some incredibly effective models. We're talking using tools like Claude.ai to whip up copywriting emails in just minutes, or becoming a DM appointment setter where you're qualifying leads entirely in direct messages. No awkward phone calls required. Now, on the flip side, if you're leaning toward a product-based approach, Mark Tilbury is all about automated e-commerce. And get this, you don't even need a warehouse or inventory anymore. It's wild. Basically, you use an AI store builder to design your site, plug in a tool called AutoDS to handle all the headache-inducing fulfillment and shipping automatically, and then just drive free traffic using organic TikTok videos. These modern tools have literally shattered the old physical barriers to entry. It's kind of a game changer. All right, let's move on to stage three, building a personal brand. Once you've actually chosen your vehicle and that sweet early money starts rolling in, you can't just stagnate. You have to evolve. Entrepreneur Dan Martell makes a really compelling point here. You have to transition from just being a person selling a product or service to building an actual personal brand. And what is a brand, really? Dan says it's simply an association. When people hear your name, what immediately pops into their head? See, the old playbook was all about building a monetization engine first. Figure out a product, then just blast it with ads. But the new model? You build an audience, a community, and an association first. Like Dan puts it, the audience is the new oil.
But here's where we hit a really crucial question, and I want to put this directly to you. Who are you actually talking to? Dan Martell warns that if you're using vanilla communication, like trying to appeal to literally everybody, sure, you won't repel anyone, but you're not going to attract anyone either. Mark Tilbury actually has a very similar rule. You have to clearly, hyper-specifically define your ideal customer's struggles, their age, even the kind of content they consume. Because think about it. If you're just standing there shouting at a massive crowd, no one is really listening. But if you walk up and speak directly to one specific person's exact problem, you instantly grab their attention.
So how do you figure out exactly who you should be talking to? Dan gives us these three incredibly powerful questions to nail down your niche. 1, what's the toughest thing you have ever gone through? 2, what do you think is fundamentally wrong with the world? And 3, what do you absolutely geek out over and love talking about? It's a cliche for a reason, guys. Your mess is often your most powerful message. That massive monster you had to battle and defeat in your own life, that is literally the best tool you have to help somebody else who is currently in the trenches fighting that exact same monster. Once you finally nail down that message, you just have to execute. And look, I want to give you a little energetic pep talk right now. Your first 100 posts are gonna suck. Just accept it. Seriously, Dan challenges people to literally just grab their phone, hit record, and go live for 30 days straight, even if your only viewers are your mom and your best friend. You've got to turn off that overthinking part of your brain, realize that perfection is the ultimate enemy of progress, and just start publishing today.
That brings us to stage 4, the currency of trust.
As that personal brand of yours starts to grow, you're going to face the ultimate boss battle, and that is the intense, almost magnetic temptation to monetize your new audience way too quickly. Dan Martell is super explicit about this. Trust is your actual currency. If you prioritize making a quick buck over nurturing the community that supports you, you are going to lose both, period. So how do you avoid being a sellout? It's simple. You honor their trust. Reply to at least 5 comments per post, answer every single direct message you get, deliver 10 times more free value than you ever ask for in return. And honestly, my favorite piece of advice here, die empty. Do not gatekeep your best secrets. Give away your absolute best stuff for free.
Now, building that trust isn't just about giving out freebies. It's also about exactly how you market. Take Mark Tilbury's show Don't Tell rule. The difference here is huge. Weak marketing, that's just posting some basic gameplay clip, tossing a link in the description, and crossing your fingers that the buyer connects the dots. But elite marketing, that's getting the camera right up close to a custom gaming controller, physically demonstrating how the extra paddles give you way faster reaction times, and doing a direct side-by-side comparison with a standard controller. Your audience needs that clear, undeniable visual proof before they trust you enough to pull out their wallets. Okay, so eventually you do have to cash in on that immense well of trust you've built. Dan Martell outlines 3 specific paths for this. First, you've got platform ad revenue, which is great for covering costs, but it's a really slow build and kind of unreliable. Second, there are brand deals. Huge earning potential there, but you have to align them so carefully so you don't alienate your audience and ruin that trust. Or third, you can launch your own owned products. This definitely has the absolute highest upside and gives you total control, but man, it requires some seriously advanced business operations. Dan's golden rule for this? Please don't try to juggle all 3 at once, just pick one path, master it completely, and win. And that leads us to our final stop, stage 5, scaling to the top. So what actually happens when you've mastered that monetization and the money is just consistently flowing in? Well, Mark Tilbury's data breaks down the harsh reality of the online wealth wheel. A massive 83% of people either completely fail or just never get off the starting line. Then you've got 16% who break through and run a successful side hustle, pulling in anywhere from $50 up to 10 grand a month. But think about that tiny 1% slice. That is the elite stage. Breaking into that exclusive 1% club really boils down to just a single, incredibly powerful word: reinvesting. The single biggest mistake you can make when that early money finally hits your bank account is running out and spending it on shiny new toys. The true power of money isn't buying stuff, it's using it to make even more money. You literally have to feed your profits directly back into the machine you just built. And there is actually an exact chronological sequence for doing this without completely burning yourself out. First step, upgrade your tools. Buy that software or camera equipment that buys you your time back. Second step, reinvest heavily in marketing. Start paying for targeted ads or micro-influencers to aggressively go out and acquire new customers, rather than just sitting back and waiting for the algorithm to bless you. And third, outsource all the small, tedious tasks. Pay someone on Fiverr a few bucks to design your logos and graphics so you can protect your energy and focus purely on big picture growth. Well, there you have it. We have covered the trap, the vehicle, the brand, the trust, and the scaling. The entire roadmap is literally right in front of you now. So my final question for you today is simply this. Are you finally ready to stop just consuming everyone else's content and start publishing your own? Take what you've learned in this explainer today, pick your vehicle, define exactly who your audience is, and take your very first step on this roadmap today. Are you ready to begin?